In today's lesson, we're going to use Cloud Formation. Cloud Formation is the AWS service that lets you run infrastructure as code via stacks. So if we go to Cloud Formation on the console, create stack with new resources, we're going to specify that the template is ready and we're going to run it from an Amazon S3 URL. So I've actually took the liberty of uploading the template to GitHub. So it's under Johnny-Chivers Cloud Formation Basics. I'll put a link in the description. The first thing we're going to do on this stack is actually create a very simple Lambda function in Python. And all that Lambda function is going to do is print hello world. So nothing too complex. To do this, we actually need to provide a CloudFormation script. And script can either be .json or .yaml. In this instance, I'm going to use .json. And actually that Python file must be provided as a zip file, so I've pre-zipped it and set it up here. Alternatively, you can download the .py file and then zip it yourself. So if we just have a quick look at the actual code itself for the stack, first thing it's going to do is specify a couple of the parameters. So these will be prompts in the CloudFormation console once we upload this JSON file and run it as a stack, and it's going to ask us for the S3 bucket and the key location of the zip file of the Py code for the Lambda. Don't worry too much. We'll see this as we go ahead, and it'll all become apparent if it's not clear now. And then we actually declare the resources themselves. So in this instance, we're going to create a Lambda function. But to create a Lambda function, you actually need a policy, an execution rule that acts off that policy, and then that execution rule has to be assigned to the Lambda. So the first thing you have to do is create an execution rule. That execution rule is actually related to a Lambda policy, which is created, and that policy is related to a document. And what that actually allows this Lambda to do is write to the log streams in EU West 1. So you need to update that if you're not running in EU West 1. So just be careful of the regions. Different regions allow you to require different permissions. So if you're not running in EU West 1, then you may have to update your region. The Lambda itself is declared down below, where you can see that it depends on the execution rule and the policy, the S3 bucket and the key. So that's actually where the code is stored as the .zip file. And then the rule itself is reliant on the execution rule and then the ARN of that execution rule. So go ahead and download those files locally and upload them to an S3 location. On the S3 location, as you can see, I have the create Lambda Cloud Formation JSON, which is what we're going to run for our stack, and I have the code itself saved as a .zip file. So I'm just going to click onto that, and you can see that there's a URL provided. So you need to copy that URL and go back to your Cloud Formation template. And as you can see, the Cloud Formation stack, when you want to give it a template, is looking for the S3 URL. So not the key, the URL. So we're just going to go ahead and copy that in, and we're going to hit next. You need to give the stack a name. So in this instance, I'm just going to call it demo Cloud Formation stack Johnny-Chivers, and then it's going to ask you for the parameters. So the parameters are where the python.zip file is located. So if you go back to your S3 location, you can see that my Lambda code is in this zip file located under this S3 bucket called Johnny-Chivers Lessons Cloud Formation. So I'm just going to copy. That key. I took too much there, but we'll sort it out in a little second. So it just wants that, and then it wants the key itself. So the key of the file is this. So we just take the .zip name and we place it there. And we hit next. Now you've got a few extra things here on tags. You can tag key value pairs as usual. Permissions are important. So this isn't the permissions belonging to the Lambda itself. These are actually the permissions of Cloud Formation. So if your Cloud Formation stack is creating a Lambda and a policy belonging to that Lambda, your Cloud Formation is going to need IAM permissions as a role in its role to create a policy. So it's almost like it's a user creating all these different resources required and pulling it together. So I've got Cloud Formation full access. You can go a bit granular on it if you want, but for the purpose of this demo, I'm just giving Cloud Formation full access. Once that's done, you get an overview. Nothing we need to do here except accept, and we'll create the stack. So that's the stack off and running. It can take up to 5 minutes. So what I'm going to do is pause the video here, and then I'll pick it back up once it's created. If you just hit that refresh icon on the right hand side of events, you can actually follow the progression of the creation, and it'll turn green in each status when it's complete. Okay, that's the stack complete. So you can actually see that the create is actually complete on the left hand side, and if you refresh it, nothing else is happening. So the next thing to do is go look at the Lambda itself. So if you go over to the Lambda and you go find it, it's called Johnny-Chivers-Lambda Cloud Formation-example. Very simple name. You go into it and you can actually see there's the code that we specified. If we want to give this a quick test, if you don't know much about Lambda, there is another Lambda video for beginners on this channel, so feel free to go look at it. But for the purpose of this, if we just go test, we keep the key events because we're not doing anything with them in this instance. We create the test event. Perfect. We need to save. That's already done. And we click test. It should call the execution response successful. Excellent. And you can see that it's printed to the console, hello world. The only real thing left to show is back on the CloudFormation template itself. Once it's created, you can update a stack. So if you want to make a change, you can run an update to the stack. The other options you actually have is, you can view results, import other resources, and you can actually delete stacks as well from the console by the delete button. So in this instance, I'm going to hit delete because I don't need the stack anymore. And that's a delete in progress. As usual, all today's resource materials are available on my website, johnnychivers.co.uk, or on the YouTube channel. And thanks for watching.